Hi everyone and welcome. This is Elena and today I have a card for you using the MISTI stamping tool along with the Concord and 9 two turnabout sets, the flower turnabout and the sunshine. So I will combine both of those sets, but before we move on to stamping, I'll show you how to line up the turnabout stamps onto the 6x6 guide that has two diagonal lines. So we'll first draw the guidelines from the back of the stamp set onto the stamp. The surface that gets attached to your acrylic block or to your MISTI. So you're going to remove that printed backing. Just don't remove the one on the bottom because it's easier to mark that. Then take a ruler, line it up with the guide on the back. And then using Sharpie or any other alcohol-based marker, and draw those lines that are underneath on the guide. So this will help you line the stamp onto your 6x6 guide. So I'm doing the same with the sunshine turnabout set. I'll line it up there, and you see the diagonal lines. That's the that shows you that's the center, like in the middle of that 6x6. And here I'm taping it down with some washi tape so the acetate doesn't slide around and move my stamp. So we're already done with that one too. So here's my guide, and then I have one MISTI that I use just for the turnabout sets, so I just removed the old one, the hello one, and I'm lining the sunshine one so along those marked diagonal lines, and then picking it up with the door of the MISTI. So next I'm putting in some Neenah white 80-pound cardstock, and I'll be using very light gray ink because I just want very pale ink in the background with the sunshine. So I'm using W+9 silver lining. So here it looks darker, but when it dries completely it will be lighter, and in order the ink to kind of stay underneath, I decided for my flower turnabout to use pigment inks which stay on the top and kind of cover up that, so you can see through a little bit but not that much. So I'm done with this. Like, I turned it 4 times, and you notice on my guide I have arrows. That's the direction where I turn that guide, so I don't get confused and turn it back and then I stamp twice. That's more important if you have 2 colors, so they'll get mixed up and you may get a result that you don't like. So I'm starting with Avery Elle MIMOSA ink. I'm starting from lightest to darkest, so this is like yellowish. Well, not yellowish, but yellow. And I'm stamping it twice because I want it darker color and to cover that gray underneath a little bit better. So next I'm turning it towards the left, and then I'm going with melon. This is a Muse ink pad. So I'll stamp it twice again, just making sure that that guide is in the edge of the MISTI. So I stamped exactly at the same spot. So I noticed that on the bottom that flower didn't get stamped completely, so I went back again. Next I'm using grapefruit. Again I'm using pigment ink pad. So I'll stamp it one more time. And then I'm going to turn to the left for one last time. And now I'll be using the mermaid. I'm using ink pad to stamp that last layer. See how you can build it up? You can use as many colors as you want. I mean 1 through 4, depending how many flowers you want to have on your background. I decided to go all the way out and used 4. Next I'll use some of the building stamps to add a little bit more dimension. So I'm using hibiscus. I'm used to add a little bit those builder stamps to add a little bit more dimension onto the flowers. Next I'm using, again I'm using eucalyptus to add more on the mermaid flowers. So then I decided to go back with the hibiscus one. Next I'm using melon one to add the little centers on the mimosa flowers. And then I'll use orange to add onto the melon flowers. So this is going a little bit slower because I'm using acrylic block, but if you want you can use your MISTI too. Next I'm using grass, not glass, to add the leaves. So I'm just adding first the largest and then I'll move on to the smaller leaves. So for the smaller set of 2 leaves I'm using the fern ink pad from MIMOSA and just going around and adding those around. And then one last time I'm using the small single leaf and I'm using the grass ink pad for that. So let's see to work to add one more. There we go, and I think this is done. So next I'm using one of the sentiments from the Sunshine Turnabout, saying you make everything shine. I'm using black cardstock. So I'll use Versamark ink to stamp that twice, and I'm using Hero Arts white embossing powder to emboss the sentiment. I really like how the sentiments look on the black cardstock. Kind of gives a lot of contrast and kind of more interest and makes it pop. I'm just heat setting that really quick, and then I'm using the Sunshine Turnabout coordinating dies to cut that sentiment out. And here you see this is like tiny die cutting machine. It's from Spellbinders. It's called Prizm, and I purchased on Amazon. I'll have the link in the profile. It's great for travel. I took it with me when I went on vacation, when I had to finish some design team assignments. So I'm trimming now the panel to 4 to 3 3/4 by 5, and then I'll add the sentiment and I'll adhere it to a black card base to make that flowery background really pop. So I made a top folding note card here, and then I'm using some black fun foam to adhere that flower background onto my card base. So there we have, I'm trying to line it up before I press it down. So, and next I'll use some foam tape to adhere that circle sentiment. So I put it on the side. And next to add a little bit more interest or embellishment, I'm using some black Neenah drops to add 3 drops on the right and on the bottom. And here's the final card. Thanks for watching and see you in another video. As well, don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog. See you soon. Bye!